Hi, I'm Colin from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is the handover of the Swift Select 144. So as we start the walk around on the driver's side of the vehicle first, the first point you get to is your freshwater intake, which is this point here. So you'll need to carry a hose pipe with some hose pipe connections, as it's mainly just a brass tap on site. And then it is lockable, so you can unlock it, pop the flat end of the hose in here and fill until it either overflows, or you can check your control panel above your habitation door and see how much water is in the tanks at any one time. If you're struggling to get a hose pipe to the vehicle, what you can do is there's a little power point here for a 12 volt submersible wheel pump. So you'd put your power prongs in there, your flat end of your hose in there, and then the pump would go into your bucket of water or aqua roll or whatever your container of water to suck the water out of there into the freshwater tank. To drain off your wastewater, so this is your dirty water, so this is anything that you've put down a plug hole, remove the cap, open the tap. So you can open the tap like so, drive over the waste disposal point, grey water point on your site, and you want to allow this to drain off so that you're not carrying the extra weight of dirty water around with you, because there's no need to carry the extra weight because it impacts on your payload and impacts on your consumption of diesel. You'll use a lot more. And also you want to drain that off fully in the winter when not using the vehicle, so nothing freezes in that tank. To operate your toilet, so this is your cassette, your Thetford cassette. So what you need to do is you need to lift the orange handle and slide the cassette free of the vehicle. If the cassette didn't come out, it means that the blade's open, which I'll show you more inside what the blade does. As long as the blade's closed, you'll be able to lift and slide the cassette out. You've got some wheels there, so you can drag it to the waste disposal point near your toilet block. And then to empty, all you need to do is remove the grey cap, press the button, orange button, tip it out. Once you've tipped the content of the cassette out, put some water in, give it a quick rinse, tip out again, and then you'd go in with a cap full of either blue or green liquid, which is 120 millilitres, which goes into the cassette, and then you can put the cassette back into the vehicle and use the toilet. Two 30 volt hookup points, so to hook the vehicle up, what you do is get your hooker blade, lift the collar, expose the end, grab the hookup point, pull that out slightly so that you can slot your end over the van end. Hook the vehicle up first, then the power point, and do it in reverse order so that you're never walking around with a live lead. Either if you were charging at home or on site, you would hook the vehicle up. On the back of the vehicle, high level brake light, tow bar with 7-pin electrics and rear sensors, Fiamma DG 200 Ducato bike rack. So what you do is put your bikes on here. It takes 2 bikes, slot these through the spokes and tie the wheels down, and then these through the crossbars. Then finally you would want to put some sort of security around your bikes in the form of a bike lock around them, just so if you leave the van unattended, your bikes are safe. Opening the door, you've got your LPG locker at the back. So this is liquid petroleum gas. This is our test bottle that's on the vehicle. So you can fit 2 6-kilogram bottles in here, and there's straps behind it to strap the bottle in. So always put the straps round the top and the bottom to strap it in. To connect the pigtail to the bottle, it's opposite thread, so it's left to tighten, right to loosen. So it's just a hand tighten fitting. Turn the bottle on and off from the top of the cylinder, making sure that you do turn it off before you start travelling. as it's far safer to have the bottle off in case anybody went in the back of the vehicle. The gas isn't going to leak and potentially cause any more hazards to an accident. But you can get another spare in the back there, so you can just carry two. Once one does go empty, just replenish it to the other bottle, and then obviously go and change that bottle for a full. This panel lifts up, and in here you've got your carpets, just a bit of storage underneath there, your living carpets, which you can get through in the centre there of the raised floor. Your boiler's in here, so this is your boiler drain off point. So in the winter you must lift this up. When you lift this up, loads of water will come out underneath the vehicle. Leave that stood up during the time you're not using the van, because that'll stop the water from sitting in the boiler and potentially freezing as the temperatures drop in the winter. Then you would leave all the other taps open in the motorhome. Remove your shower head from your hose and lie your hose in your shower tray, just so no water coils up in the U-bend of the hose. Open your freshen your waste outside and completely drain off any water that the van's holding. Then when you come to reuse it, you do it in reverse order. So shut the freshen the waste outside, shut your taps, shut your boiler, fill the vehicle with water, go to the cold side of the tap first with the pump on. You'll get a pressurized flow. Go to the hot side, it'll cough, splutter, make all sorts of noises because it's pushing the water that's in the undercarriage tank into the boiler, filling that with 10 litres before it pushes it through this red pipe here to your taps. And then once you get a free flow of water from the hot side, this is when you know that your system is primed. But open that, because if not, your warranty is invalid. It's your responsibility to frost protect your vehicle. Obviously if you're using it, you can keep the water in, but when it's sitting either in storage or on the driveway and the temperatures are going to drop, drain it off. As you come round to the passenger side, you've got your vent. So this is just your vent for your boiler when operating on gas. It'll allow the fumes out. Fuel on Mr. Ornham, which we can show you on collection. 2 fridge vents, and then blue tap means blue water, fresh water drain. So if you've taken on contaminated water, or you're draining down like I've just been on about, where you drain everything out the vehicle, you'd open that up and drain the vehicle fully of water like so. But you do have a cap, so you can pop that on the bottom as well. Electric step goes in and out, help you gain access to the vehicle. Diesel filler, which opens with a Fiat Ducato key for filling with diesel fuel. Tyre pressures, which are 5.5 bar, 79.5 psi there. So there's your tyre pressures. Engine batteries underneath this compartment in the floor. Tool kits underneath the passenger seat, which includes a jack and a brace and a tow eye. And your bonnet releases here. Having a quick look at your fluids, so you've got your screen wash in the corner, which is the main one you're going to need. Lift the 3 tabs off, gives you access to the power steering fluid and your coolant. Brake fluid, oil filler and dipstick. Earth for giving or receiving a jump start, as the battery's underneath the carb floor. And then between your air filter and your headlight, pop your key in here, lift it up, and there is your positive terminal for giving or receiving a jump start from the vehicle. To operate the main control panel once on board the vehicle, so this is your 12 volt control panel. So first of all, it tells you that you're hooked up here and that you are receiving 230 volts and you're using battery L, which is the leisure battery which you want to use. So it's a Sargent EC620 unit. On off's here, so you can turn power off, 12 volt off, or When turning on, you can either turn 12 volt on if you're not hooked up, or 230 volt if you are. Pump in the bottom corner, so if you're using taps, toilet or shower, to pressurise the water you've got to have the pump on, making sure that you've got enough fresh water on board first, which you can see, fresh water and wastewater up the sides. So you've got just under a full tank of fresh water. Interior lights, dimmer lights, and then your awning light, which is outside. Scrolling through here, you can view your leisure battery reading, vehicle battery reading, charge to the solar panel, as the solar panel is wired direct, as there is a solar panel charger in this cupboard here. Battery select, you always want that to be leisure battery, don't change that, but you'd press here if you did need to. Tank heaters, you can turn them on and off, so should it potentially going to freeze overnight, you can turn the tank heaters on when you're using the vehicle, and that'll put current through the water to stop the water from freezing the tanks below the chassis. To work the Truma CP digital control panel, to turn on and off, you just do a long hold and then enter the menu, press enter. You'll notice you've got a motorhome with a thermometer in the top left hand corner. This is how hot you want the inside of the motorhome to be. 30 degrees is max, or you can have it all the way down to off, depending on how hot it is outside. So for this, we'll just say 30 degrees and press enter. Next, you have a thermometer in water, so this is how hot you want your water. So if you didn't have any water on board, you'd have it off. Eco is 40 degrees if heating your water. Hot is 60 degrees if heating your water. And boost will turn off the heating to prioritise the water first. So for this, we'll just say hot, which is 60 degrees if heating your water, which is 10 litres in your boiler. Next one is a picture of an energy gas bottle and some energy source symbols. So this is what source you're going to be using it off. So you've got gas. If you were wild camping, you'd have no other source to heat anything off rather than gas. Mixture 1 is gas and 750 watts of electric. Mixture 2 is 1500 watts of electric and gas. You'd use this more in the winter if you were in desperate need to heat the vehicle or heat the water. Both sources together reduces the time it takes to heat each source. And then you've got electric on 1 kilowatt, which is 750 watts, depending on what amperage the site gives you. So smaller CL sites, airs abroad, you use electric on 1. But on most sites throughout the UK, you can use electric on 2, which is 1500 watts of heating your water or your vehicle. Then finally, you've got the fan speed. So Eco High, Eco takes a smaller 12 volt feed. High uses more of the fan speed, so it's a little bit louder. So Eco if you're sleeping, high if you want to get the vehicle up to temperature quicker, because obviously it'll blast it around the various parts of the vehicle. And then you've got a timer in the bottom corner, so you can time the heating to come on and off. Change the time on the display panel when the clocks go back and forth. And then you've got a spanner in the bottom right hand corner, so you can reset, preset if you want to get a warning triangle in the middle, which means that something's failed. And then you can go in and reset everything again, from temperature to water to energy source to fan speed, all again. But there's loads of videos on these. It's just a Truma CP control panel. In the kitchen area, you've got 2 gas burners. So using the ignition, you'll be able to light 2 burners like so. So there you have 2 burners lit. Allow these to cool before you put your glass tops down, because otherwise you can shatter them with the heat if they're too warm. And as long as you've got your pump on, you'll have hot and cold water, making sure that the boiler's on to heat your water, and that water is warm there, so it's up in temperature. Grill underneath. You may want to take these out or wrap these up when travelling, as they can cause a little bit of noise when you're driving. Storage with gas shut-off valves. So these are isolation valves. Red one is your water heater. White one is your heater. Blue is your fridge. Green is your hob, grill and oven, and yellow is your grill. So should you have any problems with gas, turn the bottle off to be safe. These are mainly for when the vehicle is annually habitation serviced. The technician will test each appliance. Storage drawer, and there, and storage above. In the wardrobe, you've got your infill cushions, some spare boards which I take it off of your bed, makeup boards, which there will be, your leg for your table, hanger rail in your wardrobe, 2 storage bins, telly booster so you can amplify the signal on here should it be too weak or too strong. And then should you be struggling for a signal, what you can do is you can loosen the nut off on the aerial, slide it up and adjust the toggle to direct the aerial on the roof, but look where your other motorhomes and caravans are pointing. And then when you're finished, you want to pull the stem all the way in and tighten the nut back up so that the aerial doesn't get ripped off with the wind. To operate your Dometic fridge, so you turn on and off here, and then should you get a little warning light on the warning triangle, you just press and hold until you hear the beep, and it'll turn off the fault if you were to ever become a fault, because sometimes they can just glitch themselves out. Obviously it'll fault if I was to take the hookup out and it was on hookup, because obviously it wouldn't be getting hookup, then it wouldn't turn over, turn the fault off. But to operate, turn on and off here, and change the sources there. But what I would do is I would just leave it on auto. Auto picks the best source that the fridge has available. So we've got gas on and we're hooked up, it's when to hook up, which will act as a household fridge on 230 volt. So you'd use this if you are pre-chilling at home beforehand, or if you're on a site. If you are pre-chilling, you want to hook the fridge up, you want to hook the vehicle up a couple of days beforehand. Not only does it get the fridge to cool down to temperature, but it gets the batteries to charge, the leisure battery. Then what you want to do is, the night before, chuck your shopping in, and then when you are ready to travel, take the hookup out, switch the engine on, it'll go on to battery automatically on auto. It'll send a 12 volt feed to the fridge, which acts as a cool box. So it'll act as a cool box, and it will not get any warmer, but it'll not get any cooler. It'll just maintain that same temperature. Then it'll switch over to gas, but it'll wait 20 minutes before lighting on gas. So what you've got to do is just knock it onto gas manually, like so. This one changes it manually, this one changes your temperature. And then put it back on auto and it'll do its own thing. So auto will switch between 230 gas and 12 volt. 12 volts off the alternator when travelling. Obviously temperature here, 5 when pre-chilling. Drop it down to about 3 or 4 once you get your shopping in, because sometimes it can freeze the fridge. And then what you want to do is, when not using the fridge, is pull these pins out with that little tab there, clean the fridge out, leave the door ajar like so. It'll stop smells from forming inside the fridge, which means the motorhome will not smell when bacteria in the air gets trapped in there. Underneath your lounge seat on the driver's side at the back is the location of your EC600 power supply unit. So you've got a master button here, which is a system shutdown button which turns the vehicle on and off. So should you be storing it and you don't want a power drain, you can press this black button here and it'll stop all power drain from the leisure battery. You've got your fuses, so carry some spare blade fuses with you. And this side you do have your 230 volt trips and MCBs. Obviously your charger's on and off there on mains electric, so charger, heating and hot water on mains electric, and your 3-way battery charger at the back. Some storage underneath here, obviously storage through the floor, which we've already seen. Your carpets are under there, and then under this one you've got storage under there as well, and some storage in here. Boilers in there, so if you're going to keep anything in there, put your bedding in there, because once the boiler's on, it'll keep your bedding nice and warm, and your water pump's just in that corner as well. To operate the toilet, making sure that the pump's on the main control panel, and pressing the blue button at the back, which is your freshwater flush. So pressing that blue button, you'll be able to get your flush. So put a little bit of water in first, which helps lubricate the seal between the top of the cassette and the top of the bowl of the toilet, which is known as the blade. So lubricates the seal on the blade. Grey handle is the blade, so you want to push it to the right away from you to open the blade. Use the toilet with the blade fully open. It means the cassette's not going to get dirty, the blade's not going to get dirty, should I say. Everything's going to go into the cassette. Once you've finished using the toilet, flush, and then you want to pull the grey handle, which is known as the blade, back towards you, which closes the mechanism and shuts the cassette off, which means if the cassette was to get full, which it'll come up here with a light, you can go outside and you can pull the cassette straight out. If it was to be left open, the cassette won't physically move out the vehicle, and you'll know what you've done. You've got to come back in and pull this shut. Shower head on the end of the shower hose, so when winterizing, pull this out, unscrew it and lie in the shower tray, so any water in this pipe can drain off with a mixer tap open. Toiletry storage here, you can hang your shower head there, lights, switches on the ceiling, and you've got a full size shower curtain to come round with a towel rail, toilet roll holder, and then you can open your skylight up, your vent in the bathroom for ventilation. But if you wanted to open one side and one side closed, you can, just opposites with the wind, so that you get ventilation in your washroom most of the time. So to make the back lounge into a bed, using the 2 boards which can be found in here in the wardrobe, space the 2 boards out, and then you want to put your infill cushion in the middle, this infill cushion in the middle, and what you want to do is you need to squeeze it down as it's a tight fit. And there you've formed a double bed across the width of the back of the motorhome. You've got TV bracket with 12 volt TV point and 230 volts there. Storage in the cupboards above. And all your little reading lights are individually switched, and you can use the back to brighten or dim each individual light. Some storage in the Swift pouch there. So now in the cab, to the right of the driver is your handbrake, and then on the door you do have driver and passenger electric windows, followed by your electric mirror adjustments. So you can go to the top one, which is your big mirror, or the bottom one, which is your blind spot. So you can adjust both mirrors from inside the cab electronically from here. To black the windows out, so you've got Remus car blinds, pinch and slide for the driver and passenger doors. You've got the same on the windscreen, which we'll show you. So pinch, slide out, pinch, slide together, clip together. They are just on a magnetic strip. Headlight adjustment, rear fog lights. This particular customer has opted front parking sensors, so that's why there's a little switch here which turns the sensors on and off. You may want to turn them off once you've used them and then pop them back on if you're getting close to something, because sometimes in the wet they can go off themselves with the rain, so you might want to turn them off and then just use them when you need them for parking the vehicle. Trip computer on the end of the wiper stalk, so that'll go through your range, your distance, your average consumption, your instant consumption, your average speed, travelling time A, and there's 2 trip computers, so it'll go through trip A and trip B, so you'll have all of them. If you want to reset it, just press and hold the trip computer button on the end. Lights and indicators. Bottom stalk has your cruise control speed limiter, so it's off at the middle. Turn it down, brings on the speed limiter, and you can set the speed, so you can see there it says 20. If you push up slowly it goes up in 1s, if you push and hold it goes up in 5s. And then to turn it on you need to press the end of the stalk. To turn it off, press the end of the stalk and it comes up off. So if you're going through an average speed camera zone, you might want to pop that on and limit the vehicle. You can pop, and then as soon as you get the end, turn it off and get back up to speed. And then what you can do is, if you go right the way at the top, flick at the top one, it's cruise control, so you can put the cruise on. So get your desired speed, push up to set, push up to speed up, pull down to slow down, cancel with the foot brake, cancel with the side of the stalk, or resume with the side of the stalk to the last speed that it was set before the engine was turned off. Going into reverse brings on the rear parking distance sensors, but you've got to lift the collar and push it into reverse. This locks the doors, all the doors, as it's a van. Heated mirrors, USB for charging, and 12 volt for charging here. Cup holder with a USB and auxiliary for the radio. So on the climate control, on the outside left ring is your temperature, on the in is your fan speed. It must be on at least 1 or more for the aircon to work, which is this button here. And then on the right outer ring you've got your distributions, whether you wanted to go to face, feet, screen, and whether you're bringing fresh air in or you're recirculating air within the vehicle. Radio is a FM, AM, DAB radio, so just press to get your source. Scroll through your channels, press 1 to 6 to save your favourite radio stations. Media doesn't take a CD, it is USB or auxiliary. And then to connect your phone, press phone. Do you want to connect a phone? Yes. You want to find Uconnect on your phone. Once you've pressed it, found Uconnect, press on it. It'll come up, does the pins match? Press yes. Do you want to allow your contacts to be saved? Press yes. And it will download your phone book into the head unit, so whoever rings will come up with a name instead of just a number. Plus you can scroll through your contacts as the vehicle has your phone book on the list of contacts. Glove box here, glove box on the top, which is heated and cooled via the air conditioning.